beginning of the story, we see a dangerous prison in America where many prisoners were working. In this same prison, we see a young Paul who works here as a prison guard. Paul was in the washroom at this time and was having great difficulty urinating because he had gotten a kind of infection. Just then his fellow guard came there and told Paul that a new prisoner has arrived. Outside, another guard named Percy was taking a tall and large prisoner. Percy was repeatedly saying, "Dead man walking, which meant that this prisoner was about to die soon because he had been sentenced to death. Percy was a very dirty man and he also treated prisoners very badly. After this, the prisoner was taken inside where Paul was present. Paul took this prisoner inside the cell and asked his name. That prisoner told his name, John Coffey. In size, that prisoner was quite large. But his mind was just like a child's. He asked Paul whether the lights are turned off here at night. "I am scared of the dark." On this, Paul told him that there is always light here. "Don't worry." Before leaving the cell, John extended his hand toward Paul, seeing which all the guards became alert. But Paul shook hands back with him. As soon as Paul went outside, John told him while crying that I tried very hard to stop it, but I could not stop it. This statement of his was not understood by Paul. Then Paul looked at this prisoner's file, after which we come to know the reason for John Coffey being there. 2 little girls suddenly disappeared from a house. When the whole village reached the forest searching for them, there John Coffey had the bodies of both those girls in his lap, and John was repeatedly shouting the same thing, that I tried very hard to stop it but could not stop it. Everyone assumed that John himself had killed both those girls, and for this John was sentenced to death. After reading this file, Paul now started cleaning the electric chair with one of his companions. On this chair, those prisoners were made to sit who had been sentenced to death. They were given shocks until their death. Actually, to this prison only such dangerous prisoners were sent who had been sentenced to death. In the meantime, they heard the sound of laughter from outside, and going outside they saw that one of their fellow guards was laughing, who asked them both to look ahead. Ahead there was a mouse, to which the guard gave a piece of biscuit. As soon as it ate the biscuit, the mouse went inside the dungeon. This made all 3 of them suspicious that this mouse might make a hole in the prison. It is possible that by making that hole bigger, some prisoner might escape from there. To catch the mouse, they took out all the stuff from the dungeon. But that mouse was not found by them. Now all 3 were surprised that 3 guards could not find one mouse. The next day that mouse came back there again. 2 guards saw it and gave it biscuit to eat. Percy was also present there, and he thought that this mouse should be killed. But that mouse again saved its life and went inside the dungeon. Percy angrily started taking out all the stuff. Just then Paul and his companions came there. His companion wanted to tell Percy that yesterday we people had done the same thing. But Paul told his companion to stay quiet. Let him do it. It's fine, he will get troubled. Percy took out all the stuff from inside. But he did not find that mouse anywhere. His hard work also went to waste. On top of that, he will have to put all the stuff that was taken out back inside again. He came in anger and started being rude to a guard. Just then the guard with Paul grabbed his throat. Percy threatened him that if you do anything to me, I will take away your job. Actually, Percy had a bit of acquaintance with the governor here, which he used to exploit unfairly. At this time, the whole world was going through hardship, due to which people got jobs with great difficulty. This is why nobody wanted to put their job at risk. But Paul was not scared of his threats. He told Percy that he knows how far Percy's connections reach. But from today onwards, if he threatened any guard, then they were not going to sit quietly even if their jobs were to go. The next day when Paul was working, he heard the sound of someone laughing. Going outside, he saw that this sound was coming from the room of a prisoner named Delaware. At this time Del had that same mouse, because of which they were getting so troubled. Del was very happy to have this mouse and told that this is his pet. This mouse follows every word he says. He threw a roll which the mouse brought back. Del named the mouse Mr. Jingles. From the nearby cell, John Coffey said that your mouse is very smart. He truly was a child in a 7-foot body. Anyway, soon Paul was called by the jail warden, whose name was Hal. Hal and Paul had quite a good friendship. The warden told Paul that a new prisoner is about to come to the prison who is very dangerous. He killed 3 people while doing a robbery, one of whom was a pregnant woman. Also, the warden is very troubled because soon his wife is going to die from a brain tumor, because that tumor was in such a place where an operation could not be done. On this matter, the warden became very emotional. He could not understand how he would tell his wife that you are going to die. The next day Paul was waiting at the door for prisoner Williams. but due to his urinal infection he was having trouble even standing. Just then John Coffey called out to him and asked him to come near. On this John told him to be a little careful. When that dangerous prisoner William was brought, he suddenly attacked the guards hearing the sound. Paul also reached there, but William attacked between his legs. Poor Paul's groin got hurt too. On top of that he had that infection right there. Now Paul fell there due to pain. Somehow getting up, Paul pointed the revolver toward William. But William had grabbed a guard and kept him in front of himself. Percy was also standing there. Paul told Percy, "What are you watching? Attack him." But Percy was very scared. Percy was not only a bad man but also a coward. Just then another guard came there who snatched the stick from Percy's hand and attacked William, after which William was taken into custody. Everyone got busy in their respective work, but Paul was in great pain and he lay down on his stomach groaning. Just then again John Coffey's voice came that, "Listen to me, I need something." Somehow in pain only Paul went near him. As soon as he came near, John grabbed him and pulled him toward the bars and placed his hand on the very place where Paul had the infection. Suddenly the brightness of the bulb inside the cell started increasing, and it increased so much that the bulb burst. Along with this, Paul's pain completely disappeared. John Coffey sitting inside the cell started coughing, and in the very next moment something like ash started coming out of his mouth, which dissolved in the air and disappeared. Paul asked him, "What did you do?" John told that, "I helped you, what else? But now I am very tired. Want to sleep." Now Paul went to the washroom, but he felt no pain at all, meaning he was completely healed. Now in Paul's eyes, John's image had completely changed. Paul went to the lawyer who had John's case. He wanted to know John Coffey's complete history, whether he had committed any murder before. The lawyer told him that before that day John Coffey was never seen at all. He was seen in that forest for the first time. That too with the bodies of two girls. Everyone believed that he must have been wandering here and there looking for work. Meanwhile, the other prisoner William was troubling everyone a lot. Sometimes he would spit on Paul's face, sometimes urinate on someone, and one was locked in the dungeon for these acts. Now the day of Dell's death sentence arrived. But he was very worried about who would take care of his mouse, Mr. Jingles, after he was gone. A guard assured him that, "We will send your mouse to the circus. He will do well there and will also be safe." Just then that mouse came out of the cell and Percy crushed it with his foot and moved forward, as if nothing had happened. Dell started crying very loudly at the death of his mouse. John Coffey was also watching all this there. He said, "Quickly bring this mouse to me." Paul picked up the mouse and placed it in his hands. John took it in his hands and blew on it, and a very bright light lit up between his hands. Then that same ash came out of his mouth again. Everyone was left amazed seeing this, and in the very next moment the mouse came back alive and went to Delaware. But now the time of Dell's death had come. He was made to sit on the shock chair. The in charge of death this time was Percy. Actually, Percy had promised that if he was made in charge of someone's punishment, then he would get a transfer from here, for which he had already applied, and due to his connections he would get approval too. For the person who was to receive the death penalty, a wet sponge was placed on his head, so that the current would go into his brain quickly and death would happen faster. The person would not suffer much. But Percy deliberately placed a dry sponge on Dell's head, due to which he got a very painful death. After Dell's painful death, Paul was very angry and threatened Percy that, "If you don't leave here soon, then I will write your complaint that when William attacked us, your hands were trembling. Despite being free, you could not attack him. You are not fit to be a present guard. And that day when he grabbed you, your pants got wet." Percy nervously promised that, "I will leave here as soon as possible." Now as soon as Paul reached outside John's cell, he saw that John was crying a lot. He told that, "I was able to feel Dell's pain, and along with that Mr. Jingles also felt his pain. That is why that mouse ran away from there." Along with this, John said that he is very tired and wants to sleep. After this, we see Paul having lunch at his home. The other guards who worked with him at the prison had also come there. In conversation, the topic of John Coffey came up, that how he had brought the mouse back to life, and along with that Paul told that he had also healed my bladder infection. Now they all were going together to help Warden Hell, whose wife has a brain tumor. Their plan was that they would take John Coffey to the warden's house at night. At night, before this entire plan, they made the prisoner William in the adjacent cell unconscious by giving him sleeping pills and beer, and grabbed Percy and put him in the dungeon. When they were taking John, we saw that William was still conscious. He suddenly grabbed John's arm and John started trembling very hard as if he was in great pain. In this way, William released John, after which William became unconscious again. When John came out of the jail, he became very happy seeing the stars in the open sky. He touched the grass and soil of the earth. It seemed as if he was able to talk to this earth. John may be as large as he wants in body. In mind, he was only a 4-year-old child. They were taking John in a truck. Just then a guard asked John that, "Do you know where we are taking you?" John answered that to help a woman. But he did not know how he knew all this. As soon as they reached outside the warden's house, the warden got scared. He thought someone had escaped from the jail and come there to take revenge on him. After this, he picked up a gun and became alert. But Paul explained to him that we have come to help you. Then John was taken inside to the warden's wife. The warden's wife is very ill, and now she had lost her mental balance. John went to the warden's wife. The warden's wife asked him what his name is. He said, "John Coffee. Like the coffee you drink, just the spelling is a little different." He used to tell his name just like children do. Just then he brought his mouth near the warden's wife's mouth and drew all her illness into his own body. But unlike every time, this time that ash-like thing did not come out of his mouth, and John's condition became very bad. That warden's wife was now completely healed, but she did not remember anything since learning about her illness. Now she again asked John his name. Before he could tell his name, the warden's wife said his name, meaning she remembered John's words to some extent. Now she came to John and said that, "I saw a dream where there was a lot of darkness. But you came to me as light and saved me." She took off the chain from her neck and put it on John and hugged him. Then John was taken from there back to the jail. But John's condition was very bad. Meanwhile, Percy was taken out of the dungeon with the promise that he would get a transfer from here as soon as possible. After coming out, Percy was passing near John's cell. Just then John pulled Percy and put all the warden's wife's illness inside him, due to which Percy's condition now started getting bad. He reached near William's cell, stumbling a little, and suddenly fired bullets rapidly on William. After which he himself also fell down and started writhing. Now that same ash started coming out of Percy's mouth. Seeing all this, Paul understood that John has done something wrong. Now the warden's wife's illness had come to Percy. Paul asked John why he did this. John told that both of them were very bad men, told Paul to hold his hand. "I will show you what kind of man he was." As soon as Paul held John's hand, he saw everything that John had seen. The 2 little girls whose murder charge was put on John had actually been killed by William. That is why John had killed William through Percy. The next day the warden asked Paul whether this whole incident has anything to do with what happened at my house. But Paul directly denied it. Meanwhile, Percy was admitted to that same mental hospital. Here Percy was going to get his transfer. Now Paul came to know that John is innocent. He went to John and asked him what he wants. He told John that, "I can send you far away. No one will be able to find you there." But John did not want this. He said that he has gotten tired of this freedom. He has gotten tired of seeing hatred among humans for each other. He cannot bear all this. Every day he feels the pain of humans, and now he wants to get his punishment as soon as possible. Paul said that, "What face will I show God? I know you are innocent. How can I let you die?" But John said that by giving punishment you would only be helping me. He no longer wanted to live in this world. Paul asked him, "Whatever you want, tell me." John asked for a lot of food items and expressed a wish to watch a movie. Everyone together showed John that movie. Now the day of John's punishment came. When Paul and the other guards went to John, John told them that today he had seen a dream in which Mr. Jingles had reached the circus. There are many children there, those 2 girls also who were killed by Williams. Now John was made to sit on the electric chair. There the relatives and parents of those 2 girls were also present. The father of those girls said a lot of wrong things to John. John was able to feel their hatred. Paul asked John whether he wants to say any last words. John had not been able to save those girls. He was very sad about this. Just as his face was about to be covered with cloth, John told Paul that, "I am scared of the dark. Please don't cover my face." Paul accepted this request of his. Seeing an innocent man die, tears came to all the guards' eyes. Paul shook hands with John one last time, and John told him telepathically that just as those 2 girls were killed, similarly a lot of wrong is happening in the world. Human hates human. He can no longer stay here. Paul was having great difficulty in giving the order to turn on the electric chair. But ultimately he had to give the order, and poor John Coffey died. After this we see an aged Paul who was narrating this story to his friend. Paul told that that was the last death sentence for me and my companions. After that, all the guards got their transfers to that place where juvenile offenders were brought. They would try their best to educate and reform them. But Ellie did not believe Paul's story. To make her believe, Paul took her with him on a walk to that same wooden house where he went every morning. Both went inside that cottage and saw that Mr. Jingles, that same mouse which was with that prisoner, is still alive even now. Paul told that when this mouse was writhing, John had helped it, and while healing it he had perhaps given a little part of his power to it, and that is why perhaps this mouse is still alive today. And when John had shown him all this through telepathy, that how William had killed the girls, at that time John had given a small part of his power to Paul without wanting to. Paul told that my age is 108 years. I have lived a very long life, have seen very good and bad things. I have buried my entire family, and one day Ellie too will leave his life. Perhaps this is his punishment and this is his penance. After this, Ellie also died some time later. Now Paul, lying in bed, was remembering all those people who came into his life and went away. He was thinking that when John gave such a long life to a mouse like Mr. Jingles, he is still a human being after all. Who knows how many years he will live. If you liked the video, then give it a like. Subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.